And today we're talking live. I just got back from C2E2 2023, the Friday show. Here's my badge. Uh, Never got a lanyard. And you're supposed to have these things out at all times. I got called on it late in the game, but called on it nevertheless. So this is just impromptu to talk about what my experience was like at C2E2 this year. And what I did when I was there. Just a quick, because I wanted to do stuff from the show, but once I tell you what's going on, you'll know why I did it here. So the last C2E2 I was at, I did broadcast, or not broadcast, but I filmed some stuff from the hotel that I was at, and that was a lot of fun. That was also the last con that I had been to, which was the last con in the country that year, because it was the end of February 2020 into the 1st of March of 2020. And that was the last con in the entire country, and that's the last one I've been to. So this was a big comeback, and it felt like a big comeback this year for C2E2. C2E2 really went and got a lot of people to get you in the door. So many that it was like kind of frustrating to be doing pre-order tickets for the show, because you'd get like one person and go, oh, okay, cool. I can't wait to see that person. And then they'd add a second person from their show or whatever that you'd like. And then a third, and then a fourth. And so you had to keep upgrading your tickets, because more and more people kept getting added to the show. It just kept getting better and better. So like a couple of people from Angel turned into like 4 or 5 people. The Smallville had like 4 people turned into 5. X-Men, the animated series, had like 6 people in their groups this year. They had all of Boy Meets World, if you're down for that stuff. They had big groups this year. Everybody was getting involved. The Clone Wars, Star Wars Clone Wars got represented this year. So, there was so much to do this year at C2E2. And then fucking forget about it when they added Chris Evans and sorry, dude from Namor, Wakanda Forever, because I haven't even finished that movie. The dude who plays Namor is also going to be here this year. So, I mean, there's a ton. There's a ton. Like, I'm meeting Chris Evans tomorrow, y'all. I can't believe it. It's going to be the coolest, briefest moment of my life. And so, yeah, let's get into it. So, here's the thing. I was supposed to go as Cyclops for the X-Men the Animated Series panel and for the photo op. Never wore it. I wore it here, tried it on. It was planning on wearing it at the show. I was actually planning on, the first plan was to wear it all the way to the show. And then I remembered, when I dressed up as Cap, how hot as balls I was the whole time. And it was granted in August, but today, this very warm spring day, very warm and rainy. It's a torrential downpour, depending on where you're at right now. I got caught in it as I was coming off the train and all the way home. I got myself sidetracked. So, crap. Got myself sidetracked with that. So, torrential, got caught in the rain, back. Holy crap. Anyway, maybe I'll remember what else. Oh, dressed up like Cap, hot as hell. So, it was unseasonably warm. So, I was like, okay, I'll just change when I get there. And then when I got there, and I had my... made the decision that the costume that I had for Cyclops, I didn't like the visor. It was very smashed up, kind of. And earlier this year, I had picked these babies up. So, yeah. So I just wore this with my X-Men t-shirt on, And I got a ton of compliments just because I think with the haircut that I have now, sorry, I mean, this is a good Cyclops haircut, I think, you know, just enough. I mean, I know I got a bit more forehead, but it's like, Cyclops in his 40s. Can't keep it tight forever, you know, you know. So I just went with this, and I told myself, though, that I was still going to change into the outfit. I was going to do it somewhere either before the X-Men the Animated Series panel or like right if I had time after. But first off, like when I got there and everything, like it was a breeze to get in. In fact, it was it was weird. I was getting prepared for the big old, you know, show me this, look through your bags kind of stuff. I got waved straight up in, man. Nobody stopped me at all. I didn't see much in the way of security there. There were bags being checked, but like a lot of us were just like just going right past. And that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to expect. I'm just reporting my experience, what I saw. I don't really know what to think of it. But right off the bat, it didn't feel too crowded. But for me, and this is why I ended up, part of the reason why I didn't end up wearing a costume was my anxiety kicked in pretty hard. I've been pretty good on my anxiety for the last 4 months. Made some big changes in life and had been doing really good on the anxiety and the self-confidence and all this other stuff. And for some reason, I walked in there alone. Like I've walked in there alone before, but this time those other times I was like Mr. Confidence. But today there was no confidence to be had. I just went into like introvert mode big time. I was trying to walk around like I was fine because I put my Cyclops mask on. It's like, I'm not me. I'm just some dude, it's our protection. Some of these things are our protections that we put on. And so I had this on as my kind of anxiety helper, which I know probably doesn't make any sense to some people. It's like comfort. It's like my invisibility cloak, y'all. I do something like this and I feel like no one actually seeing me. They're seeing something. They're seeing, like Clark Kent puts on the glasses. Superman puts on glasses. They see Clark Kent. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm Superman. I'm just saying they see somebody else, which is so weird to say, but whatever. That's how it is. Being honest. So when push came to shove and times happened and whatever, and I ducked out early from the X-Men panel. And we'll talk about the X-Men panel. Telling myself that I was gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna change. But I decided to check out the X-Men the Animated Series line first. Because I had made the decision to leave right after I saw them, which was we were scheduled at like 2:20 in the afternoon. And when I left the Animated Series panel, they said that there were 3 questions left. And there was still a bunch of people. So I ducked when they said we're only going to take 3 more questions. Figuring, okay, we're at limited time here already. So if I'm going to go, I better go check the line. And if I have time, I'll put on the costume. That's what I told myself. But I think it was really just me putting myself in a situation where I was not going to be able to get there on time. If I had put the costume on before the panel, I could have done it. So I would have been there, and in full costume. But I just made the internal that my anxiety was messing me up. I was scared to be there alone without like support this time. And that's the thing, is I never needed support before. I just did it. And I was like proud as hell. But this time it's like, now that I've become open to the idea of being more social and way more than that, like the anxiety had gone away. I am being more social. I am being like one of the, probably on the road to the best version of myself in my entire life. And for some reason today, when I was alone, it really just really sent me kind of spiraling a little bit. Because now I want to be with other people. Now I want company. I don't want to go to these things alone. I want to feel a part of it. And now when I'm alone at these things, I really feel more distanced than I would before for some reason. When I guess I had accepted my reality of being alone at this kind of thing, like not needing anybody. Other people would just get in the way. And now it's definitely a different situation. And I want to be around people. But once that anxiety kicked in, everything kind of fell apart. So one cool thing I'll say about, well, we're segueing off of that kind of that part of my experience, was the actual place itself was wider, or not wider, but they made more space. It felt like a lot more, like there was a couple of places where it was real tight, but they were out kind of out of the way, so it wasn't that big a deal. But I feel bad for those people who were put in those booths, because that felt like you were being shoved off, like put on an ice floe and just disappeared. And it was over by like the books section. I'll just say that right now. I don't care, not offending anybody. I'm just telling the truth. That way over in the corner near the photo ops, there was like this section of like people that had written actual books that were just kind of jammed in there. And so anybody who was like looking to take a shortcut, that was like the shortcut to get through to another area, because no one was stopping there to check out the books. They just saw a real, literally like in a video game when there's a shortcut in it, and you just go, all of a sudden you just zip down that aisle and you're past everybody all of a sudden. That's how it was, but nobody was stopping to read the books. But yeah, wider, more comfortable. In that respect, I didn't have anxiety about this place. But I did get anxiety when it came to what I had planned on doing, which was first meeting talking to Arthur Adams again, from the comic book artist. And I had been like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to talk to him about my channel, and I'm going to, I'm going to try to set up an interview or something, and I didn't do any of that because partially though, because it felt like etiquette dictated that I do my business and move on. That there still wasn't a place for conversations because of how many people were out. This was not like the last time I had talked to him, where it was just easy to have a conversation. People were ready to go out to a con, and they showed up, and they're definitely going to make a lot of money this year. So it means that they'll probably have an even more kick-ass C2E2 2024. I don't even know what, man. If you guys bring X-Files, bring the X-Files, and do a Firefly or a Lost reunion. Bring those people. Bring Lost, bring Firefly, bring the X-Files, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Mystery Science Theater 3000, bring them, and you just wipe the floor with anybody else. But it felt like you had to just get your stuff and move on, and I slipped a few cards. I slipped a few of these to people. But I just when I went to Arthur Adams, it was just business. Like, it was nice. We talked. I did get a few minutes up there because I gave him a bunch of books and he wanted the ink to dry, and he was very happy to sign all these. So this is the Arthur Adams books that I got signed. I did not get as many as I wanted to. Look, I think everybody was hurting from not having these cons. Let me just put it to you that way. So things weren't cheap, so I could only do so much. But I got the New Mutants Special Edition #1 signed. This is that. He signed it right there by the hammer. And then I got every issue of Longshot signed. So one of my absolute favorite characters is Longshot. Arthur Adams created Longshot. So that's issue number 1. You got issue number 2 here. He signed it down there. We got that going. If anybody's putting anything in the chat, I can't see it. Longshot number 3. He signed it down there. She-Hulk fans will like this one. This is Longshot number 4. He signed it right there. You got Longshot, Spider-Man, and She-Hulk on this one, baby. Longshot number 5. He signed it. That one's kind of hard to see. And then Longshot number 6. And this is the last Longshot. Well, then we got new Fantastic Four issue 348. Or we got the new Fantastic Four. Very cool. X-Men Annual number 12. High Evolutionary War. Signed by Arthur Adams. This is a good book to have. High Evolutionary War signed by Arthur Adams. Got the X-Babies. He signs it down there right on top of Mojo, which I was wearing that Mojo shirt that I have, and a lot of people like that Mojo shirt and these visors. Then we got this Moon Knight cover that he did recently. We also got a New Mutants issue that he did recently. This is a number 2. Wow, this is from a couple of years ago, though. Number 2, this is Warlock. I love this damn cover so much. He signed it down there. I mean, he also created Warlock, I think. And then I got 2 of these because I had already had 2 of these. I love Longshot so much that I had 2 covers. I told him, I was like, man, I love this cover so much, dude. So he did it in the silver ink. So that was the Arthur Adams experience. I wanted to talk about doing a custom job, but then I started hearing prices and went, oh. So unless somebody wants to start a Kickstarter campaign so that Rob can have a fucking Arthur Adams original, no. So there was that, but that actually wasn't the first thing I did. The first thing I did was I went and I talked to Mark Shepard. A lot of you people, pardon me. A lot of people know him from Supernatural. I know him from all of that stuff. I remember when he was on Firefly. But I remember him most fondly from X-Files. And I went up there and, they were talking, I didn't really bug him. I wanted to talk to him so bad, but I did ask him. And they do have my card, I think. I wanted to talk about the X-Files show I'm going to do, but look, I just kind of went into that weird mode. So I just put the X-Files script down for him that he's in. I got this thing and he taps. I was I was in the first group to see this guy today. So day 1, and when I put this down in front of him and he looked at it and he looks over at his assistant, and he goes hey. And he's like, hey, look at this. And he's like, now that made me feel good because it's that happened with Clark Gregg when I brought him a DVD copy of Choke. I like to, if I really wanted him. I've been kind of weirdly obsessed with this episode ever since I saw it. So yeah, he signed it here. Only one. Wait, he wrote it down. I'm gonna have to like really look at what he wrote. Oh, cool shades. Mark Shepard liked my shades. And then he slipped in a little picture of the character, Cecil Lively, that I really wanted a sequel done on the X-Files. I never understood why they never did a sequel, because he was still, like, I don't want to spoil it for people, but, there was room for more Cecil Lively. And apparently what he told me was that they tried and they couldn't figure it out. I would love to hear a longer conversation about that, but that's how it goes. Didn't push it. You know what I'm saying? It's not my business. But I really want to know. I really want to know, Mark. I really want to know. I need to know. So then, after doing more wandering around and looking for, I was looking for a friend. Well, I was looking for a fellow colleague on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, that I admire a lot, and I had a gift for him, and I dropped that off. And I hope if he watches this, man, look, do whatever you want with it. I just really thought it was something you had to have. So yeah, I dropped that off with a colleague, and even with that person, like, we're all just people, right? We're all just people. And I still, every time I talk to him, I act like a fool. I think I shook his hand and like half like fist bump, then turned into like 3 weird handshakes, and just, and he was being so gracious too. He was being so cool. He was just like, hey man, like, come on back anytime. I'm like, I just don't want to bother. The hell, man. Come on. I'm better than this. I've been better than this. But again, I was by myself. I needed a cheering squad, I think. I needed somebody there with me. And it didn't help that when I would try to like send something through this place, I was trying to do little video shorts. It wouldn't go through. So I was having that problem too, but it's okay. So then the last thing is I eventually found the main stage, because I'd never gone to a panel at one of these ever. So I had to find the panels, and I found the X-Men, the animated series panel, and eventually they showed up. Everybody was behind. That's okay. This was a crazy, crazy show. On day one, there was so much going on. I would have liked to have gotten their autographs. I don't know, maybe tomorrow. But they had a really fun group of people up there trying to like kill the time. They had everybody dressed up in their X-Men costumes, just everybody that had one. They even had Captain America up there, and they made jokes about that. And it was really cool that they knew how to handle a late, like they just rode with it. They were like, screw it, the guests aren't here yet. Let's just dove into chaos, like organized chaos though. And then they showed up, and it was awesome. It was freaking great. Of course, they can't talk about the new stuff too much, other than they said the animation's great. It takes place immediately after the end of the last episode. They said, that you're going to be it's going to be great, that the show is in good hands. And they had a great time. They've been having a great time recording new episodes. They thanked everyone. Because they were like 31 years, like people in their line of business don't get called back 31 years later to do a new series. This doesn't happen unless it's because of us. And this is one of those times where I'm going to be like, yes, my fucking generation, we keep that shit alive. That, COVID sent a lot of people in deep dives into their, DVRs, and found all these shows. So basically everyone's watched everything, and if they liked it, it just grew fandoms. Like, fandoms now are even bigger now because of the pandemic. And so we've got a new show because of all this demand now, that like that they must have saw huge numbers or huge responses. I'd been, like I'd made some videos before, and I'm just glad that I was so under the radar that they weren't, shut up, Rob, don't talk about this. Don't look at my channel. Don't look at my channel. But I made some X-Men videos, and I'm so glad that I got in under the radar on that. But they were just really, really cool. And they were they are just regular people. Again, you know what I mean? All of them are, but the voice actors, these are our street level people, man. These are the people that, grind it out. They're always, they're working, they're trying to do their craft, they're trying to get jobs, they take what work they can get. Their stories that they had to tell were awesome. They were all just so exactly how you wanted them to be, but without feeling phony, because like I said, they are so authentic and they cared so much about the writing of the show. One of the things that I'd probably say the biggest thing I took away from them was how much they were about story and character writing, all the things that I give a shit about. The most important thing, and they were like, the stories and the writing just were so good on that show originally, and the way that they're talking now, it makes me feel like, oh man, we're still gonna get that same kind of feel, that same kind of vibe. I don't want to. I'm feeling like I'm gonna overhype it. I'm going in with low expectations, but low to middle expectations, because these days I just don't know. I get that weird feeling, but right now I'm going on a little faith and hope that it's gonna be amazing. And again, these people, they were great. They were great. They are the kind of people that's why I wanted to have the group. I had to meet these people, and it was very brief. Everybody needs to be aware that how brief these encounters are. And if you want longer time with them, you really got to pay out the ass. And those celebrity VIP things, they just disappear. That's the first fucking thing to go, everybody. It was that and Chris Evans tickets, Chris Evans autographs. So first the celebrity VIPs, and then Chris Evans autographs, and then. But I got to stand with my group of mutant friends, and I stood up there, and I looked right into Steely Smith's eyes, the actress who plays Storm. And I just looked at it. I was like, I'm looking at Storm right now. I'm standing right. I look right past her where Kel has got his claws out, man. And Jean, she's like, I love your shades. I mean, and I just stood there for a second. I said, this is the coolest thing ever. And the actress who plays Rogue, she's like, thanks, thanks, sugar, like that kind of thing. Oh my God, it was so great. So this is the picture. I'm a big nerd. Find the nerd. Find the nerd. I couldn't believe that I was tucked in there like that. I feel a little silly, but this is that is the cool, folks. This is honestly one of the coolest things that has ever happened to me. And I let myself have it. This is something I might have normally not let myself do. This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment thing, and I let a lot of once-in-a-lifetime moment things pass me by. And this year, I said no. This year, I want my X-Men. I got them. And they did not disappoint. Seriously. These were such a gracious group of people, the people that you want to meet, and I just loved it. And that's when I dipped. I dipped out and jumped in a cab, got back on the train, got caught in the rain. Got caught in the rain at Taco Bell because I was starving. And now I'm back here getting ready, waiting for the rest of my group to show up here. And then I got to do a show at 8 o'clock over on D's Reviews to talk about The Mandalorian. So I got to watch The Mandalorian here again, so I better get off. But that was C2E2 Day 1, everybody. I hope you like watching this. If you like this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Also, check out Smirking Reviews Classics, a new channel it's an old channel that I finally started putting stuff on. I just added a new Rob's Never Seen called Rocky. Yes, that's right. Rob's never seen Rocky. Well, find out what I think about it over there. Otherwise, Have a great night, everybody. Hopefully, maybe I'll do another one of these. But again, check me over at D's Reviews for not too long from now. So, bye. How do I stop this thing? James, let me out this crazy thing.